Hello, we're back in the garden again, and we are going to finish filling out these two beds behind me. So come with me and let's just get to it. In these two beds that I have right behind me, I am ready to finish filling them out for at least the first planting. Now in this bed right here, I have herbs in the middle of this bed. Now this is a 6 by 2 foot Vego metal raised bed, and there will be a link to the Vego website if you're interested in the Vego metal raised beds. But in this bed, this is a 6 foot long and it's 2 feet wide. And I should be, if you use the square foot garden method, which I will be doing, I should be able to get 12 different plants in here if you're thinking ultimately a 1 foot section for each plant. But we're going to squeeze it just a little differently. So I have my herbs in the center here, and I've started putting in T-posts because I am going to trellis something in the back. And in the very front here, we're going to plant some carrots. And so we're going to work on this bed and this bed behind me. The bed behind me, we're going to put potatoes in there. So this will be our first planting of potatoes. But first, let's finish filling out this bed right here. In this bed, there's sage, there's thyme if it makes it, there's some chives. I had rosemary, but now the squirrels have the rosemary, so we'll have to replace that probably with oregano. And I have sweet marjoram right there. I have 2 T-posts already in here, and now we need to go cut the cattle panel trellising. Now, I've already measured, and I know I need 64 inches, and this cattle panel trellis is exactly 108 inches long. That's not right. It's 128 inches long. So 64 and 64 takes it right down the middle. I have my bolt cutters here, and we are going to just cut this down to size. And I don't have my helper today, so I got to do it all myself. We will take this piece here because there are no sharp ends on this piece here. Let's see if I measured it right. And I did. We are looking good. Now it's got a little bow to it because it's been leaning. I'm going to turn it over. Let me get my gloves. I think I want the bow going backwards. Ah, yeah. This is what we want. This is what we want right here. Now, this particular bed is going downhill just a little bit, but that's okay. It should be fine. Now, once I get this stable, I will actually show you how to clip these on. I have a couple of videos out there on how to install cattle panel trellis, and if you check out that video, you'll be able to see in better detail on how to connect them to these little pins here. Some people just use zip ties, and some people use the little clips that come with it. And normally I do this from the other side, so I feel like I'm backwards trying to do this, but let's get it up and let's get it stable. Now I'm going to try to bring you in as close as I can on this particular one. But here's the little clip that we're gonna put on. And this clip has one little hook here and then a little weird twisty on the other side. I put the clip in and then I pull it over to the other side where the V is in the back of the T-post. And now this little lip, I pull it down. So I take the tip is up here. I grab my pliers, and I just twist it down underneath. And that holds it in place. Twist it down underneath. Let me show you the one on the other side, and then this will be in place and ready to go. All right, I'm gonna try to bring you in as close as I can so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so here's the little clip. There's the little hook and then the little twisty hook. So one's going down, one's going up. I'm going to put it with the end going down right here. I'm gonna take the V part right here, this V part goes behind this T-post. Once you got it behind, you bring it around. And you see I got this end coming around and we're gonna pull it down into the front here. That's our goal anyway. And now this is locked in place. This one's hooked underneath and this one's hooked underneath. And this is in place and it's not going anywhere. All right, so we have our cattle panel trellising up and we are still in our cool season. So I can't plant just anything when we're in our cool season. So my first planting for this cattle panel trellis will be sweet peas, or snow peas, I should say. Snow peas. So I am planting two different kinds, and it's whatever I picked up from the big box store, just to be honest with you. And I don't like sweet peas, but my girls do. So this is for them. The first thing that I need to do with these, before I plant these peas, is add a little nutrition to the soil. So today I will be using this Garden Tone Organic. Garden Tone is a 3-4-4. This is for slow release. Let me get my gloves on. And I am just going to put a little bit back here along the area where I plan on putting in these snow peas. We'll get it mixed in a moment here. And I used to put this across my whole bed, not realizing I was just wasting my money. But I will also be using my new tool here. This is from Berry and Bird. This tool is sharp on the edges and you can pull weeds with it. All right, we're gonna try to get through this video. I keep getting stopped by my neighbors as I'm trying to get this bed planted up here. Let's see, where did I leave off? So this is the Garden Tone Organic Fertilizer. It's a 3-4-4 NP and K, and that's gonna be my slow release fertilizer for these peas that I'm getting ready to put in the back of this bed. And now also the weather's changing on me, so I gotta try to hurry. I also have my Berry and Bird hand tool that I'll be using here. This Berry and Bird hand tool, it says it's a 5-in-1, but it's perfect for the garden. And you can pull weeds with it, you can dig a hole with it, you can cut with it, you can do a lot with it. So we're gonna use this to lightly mix in this organic fertilizer that we're gonna put on this trellis right here. Once the peas come out, we will replace those peas with something. I'm not quite sure what it will be yet, but we will be replacing the peas in the future. So for the peas, we are going to put, I got these two different kinds. One is a 70-day to harvest and the other one is 58 days to harvest. So one is going to be pretty quick and one's going to take a little longer. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do an every other one. I need to plant them. This one says an inch deep and this one says an inch and a half. So we'll be somewhere in between the two. And we're going to plant them how far apart? 2 inches apart. One says 2 inches and one says 6 inches. So we're going to be all over the place with this here. I am going to plant them 3 inches apart. That's going to be the plan here. And I'm going to plant them every other one. And again, I don't like sugar snap peas. Woo, I don't like them. But that's okay. Now I still need to get these covered up. As the weather gets colder and colder here. So I've pretty much lost my window with my neighbors. So just put about 1 inch of dirt on top of it here. I'm gonna just push it down. That's gonna be faster. All right, the peas are in. Now in the front of this bed here, now with me putting carrots in the front of this bed, I have to really make sure I keep them watered in until I can get a board or something to put in front here. But for the carrots, we're going to be doing Corel. And I love these carrots. These carrots did so well for me last year. And it's the biggest carrot harvest I've ever had. And so we are going to put the fertilizer in the front here. I'm going to give the soil just a little scrunch here, a little toss. Now these are 75 days to harvest. I could do two. Let me try to do, I'm going to divide this up into maybe 3 rows. That's going to be my goal. So I'm using my tool to kind of draw some lines here to create my nice little row. Now let's see if I can drop some seeds in that. Now I have to be careful because all of these herbs are going to get very bushy. So I got to make sure that I leave room for those herbs to kind of bush out and not cover up my carrots too bad. I did 3 rows, but I'm going to keep it to 2 because I know this stuff's going to get bushy as the season goes on. Now this bed is fully planted out. We have our Corel carrots in the front. We have our herbs in this next level here. And with the herbs, there's a couple more plants I need to get out here. And in the very back, we have our peas. This bed is good to go. Now let's work on this bed right behind me. Now, one of the things that I didn't talk about was my Dear Family stool here. This is one of my garden stools that I have, and Dear Family sent it to me. There will be a link in the description below for this tool. It has some nice foam padding here for me to sit on, and if I need to kneel down, I can turn it upside down, and I can kneel on this as well. It actually comes with some side pockets for my tools. I just didn't pull that out today. But Dear Family, nice little garden tool, a nice little garden stool if you're looking for one. In this bed here, we are going to start with our potatoes. Now I plant tons and tons of potatoes every year, but typically I grow my potatoes in containers, not in raised beds. So this will be the first year I've ever grown potatoes in a raised bed. Now, this is another Vego metal raised bed. They're 17 inches deep. And so we will be spacing our potatoes out just under a foot apart, more like 8 inches maybe, if I'm looking at this properly, somewhere between 8 and 10 inches apart. So I'm going to have 7 rows across and 4 rows deep. And I've picked out the potatoes that I'm going to grow in here. Now, I grow both early, mid, and late potatoes. Early potatoes are typically 55 to 70 days. Mid-season potatoes are 70 to 90 days, and late potatoes are 90 to 110 days. And I've decided to only put mid and late season potatoes in this container here. And we will put our early potatoes in containers, little black containers, because that way I can get them in, get them out, and put a second round in for my early potatoes. These will probably stay in here all season long, and then pull them out just before I add some fall crops. So that's the plan. Now, your potatoes can grow at many different heights. The plants act very differently depending on the variety. And I know that my red Pontiac, here I'm saying I know, I think I got, no, my red Pontiac will be my largest GreenStalk potatoes. So according to what I read about them, my red Pontiac, they're late season potatoes, but the greenery on it gets really long. And so I want to make sure that I'm putting all of them in one area, and so they're not shading out other plants. But at the end of the day, they're going to be green leaves on all of these potato plants until they decide to die back. And so the red Pontiac, we're going to put 4 of those in. And I'm going to put them down on this end so that they're not shading out. So if I put them down here, they could shade out here since the sun is coming from that direction. But let's talk about how we're going to prepare the bed. To save some time, I've already kind of dug out my holes here just to save us a little bit of time. In each one of the holes, I'm going to put my organic granular fertilizer in each of the holes. And I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to drop it in. I'm going to plant my potatoes about 4 inches deep, 4 to 6 inches. In addition to my organic fertilizer, I will be adding some organic bone meal. So this is organic bone meal. Sometimes I put blood meal, but I don't have any readily available, so we won't be putting the blood meal. The blood meal is for nitrogen, and my organic fertilizer has the nitrogen already, so we should be good with that. All right, I have all the fertilizer in, and now we are going to massage this into the hole, making sure that our holes are going to be at least 4 inches deep. All right, I'm getting these holes mixed in with our fertilizer. If you don't know, I use potting soil in all of my beds. This is a Fox Farm Ocean Forest potting soil in the top 6 inches or so. Below that is whatever potting soil I had left over from the years past. So let's get these in. So you always put your potatoes with the eyes facing up, and these have scabbed over. I cut these potatoes into smaller pieces, about 3 or 4 weeks ago now. So they have been just waiting for the weather to warm up good enough for me to get them outside. The red Pontiac is in. Next to the red Pontiac, we're going to do German Butterball. Again, you want the eyes facing up. And I've never had any luck with German Butterball, not last year anyway. So hopefully this year we'll have better luck with the German Butterball. We are going to do 2 rows of Kennebec. Now, Kennebec can be whompers or lonkers, as some people would say. So they say if you plant them closer together, it'll keep them from getting too big. Kennebecs are an all-around potato. They're good for everything, and they're also very good for storage, and they're very good for holding their shape when you're canning. And so, as I stated, we're going to do 2 rows of the Kennebecs. I'll go over there and get that one in a minute. And then we're going to do Lehigh. We're going to do Lehigh, which has been my favorite potato for the last 2 years. So we will see if it does wonders for us again this year. I'll get those put in when I head around to that side. And then we're going to do 2 rows of Purple Viking, which I love the Purple Viking. It is a purple potato with some pink splotches all over it. It has a beautiful pink flower as well on it. So that's one of my favorite potatoes. Now we have everything in this bed. We will be adding some leaf mulch or straw or something like that to hold in the moisture, because I've found potatoes use a lot of water. They need a lot of water. So we're going to get some leaf mulch on here really soon. Not today because we're running out of daylight and time. And I also put a type of trellising in that kind of help hold the green parts of my potatoes up. And we will do that before the hones of the potatoes get too tall. But we don't need to do that today. I have one more project I want to get done before I let you go today. So let's head over to one of our GreenStalks. In this GreenStalk right here, I have in the top, these are different types of lettuces, but in the bottom, I have parsley, and I have Italian parsley, flat parsley, extra curly parsley, lots of different kinds of parsley in here. And in the very bottom, we are going to add some cilantro. So the first thing I need to do though is get the cilantro in here, or excuse me, the parsley, because I have a couple pockets that don't have any in it. And this is curly parsley. I got some extra name tags here. Curly parsley is what we're getting ready to add right here. All of the other parsley I transplanted in, and we are going to start these 2 pockets from seeds. With parsley, you can do it either way. I like to do the transplants because you can get it faster. Now, I had already put fertilizer in this tier when I added the transplants because I didn't know which pocket I was going to put them in. So I went ahead and fertilized the whole tier. And so we are just adding the seeds because all of the other pockets had the seeds. We're just adding seeds because the pocket already has fertilizer in it. And I'm going to just toss the soil just a little bit to make sure that the parsley is lightly covered. You don't need to plant parsley seeds very deep. And at the end of the day, I mix all of my parsley together if I'm not eating it for fresh. fresh eating, you know, if I'm not spreading it on top of something I just cooked. When I go to dehydrate my parsley, I mix it all together. So whether it's extra curly, whether it's dwarf, whether it's Italian, whether it's flat, it all get mixed together for me. And so it's just a mixture of parsley. So the parsley's in and it's ready to go. And now it's time for us to do the bottom pockets as well. And it has fertilizer already in it as well. I couldn't remember, but I see the fertilizer sitting right on top of it right there. And so for cilantro, 1/4 of an inch deep is what it's saying. And so I am going to do 3 pockets with this slow boat. And then I'll do 3 pockets with just this so this is slow boat. I'm going to do 3 pockets of that. And we will do 3 pockets of this very generic cilantro right here. And I'm going to do every other pocket because that just seems to work best. I forgot to show you the triple curled parsley that we just did. Triple curled parsley. But now we're on to cilantro. So we're going to put seeds in every other one. And then we'll come back and cover it up 1/4 of an inch. And I'm running kind of low on cilantro, so I do need to get this harvested to replenish my supply. And cilantro is a cool season crop, as well as everything that you see here. A few years ago, I harvested the seeds. I let my cilantro go to seeds, and I harvested the seeds, which is basically coriander, which is just cilantro seeds. And I harvested them, and I never used them for anything. I don't cook with it, so I think what I'm going to do is use those seeds in the future versus buying cilantro from the store. So we're going to start harvesting our own seeds versus buying cilantro seeds. We'll start saving some money that way. I should harvest more seeds anyway. But I just can't pass up. I just have a hard time passing up seeds when I'm in a store. Woo, some people are shoe people. They can't walk by and not buy shoes. For me, it's seeds. I can't walk by and not buy seeds. Ooh, I'm always trying something new. Like, ooh, I've never tried that before. So seeds, I have a seed problem. And I'm just lightly tossing the soil on top here. I mean, I could measure it out exactly, right? Give that 1/4 of an inch that it's calling for. Or I can just toss the pocket real light. That tier is done as well. So we planted out 2 of my metal raised beds from start to finish. They are done. We don't need to add anything else to those beds for now. And we finished off this GreenStalk tower. This tower is fully laid out now. All 5 tiers of this GreenStalk are complete as well. That's another busy day in between my neighbors talking to me. I hope you enjoyed the video. I like bringing you with me, showing you everything that I'm working on in my garden. And if you did enjoy the video, how about a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel? I'm going to show you everything that I'm doing this year, indoors as well as outdoors. And until next time, and I hope there will be a next time that you come back to visit me, Kim, at Kim's Cozy Corner. Bye.